quote Lawrence Fishburne from John Wick Chapter 4?
You are now in the presence of the motherfucking king!
What do I even say about Into the Spider-Verse that hasn't been said already? It's flawless. I absolutely adore it. The animation is god tier. The story and characters are all great. It's got a great sense of humor. I've seen it so many freaking times and even rewatched it a couple days ago and just loved it to death. I remember when I first saw it, I was telling people about how good it was and they were all looking at me like, really? It's that good. The cartoon Spider-Man movie is that good. This is your favorite movie of 2018. Was I wrong? And every time someone would tell me, oh, I'm not gonna watch it because it's a cartoon, I would always quote this line.
Got a problem with cartoons?
Did that feel like a cartoon?
God, that movie is so good. And since day one of seeing Into the Spider-Verse, you do not know how excited I was to see Across the Spider-Verse. And I'm very sad to say that, Across the Spider-Verse is just... This movie fucking rocks! I've already seen it twice in one day! It's that freaking good! Every little itty bitty thing about this movie is just perfect. So perfect that I honestly don't think there will be another movie to come out this year that can top this. This movie, oh my god. Where do I even start? I don't think this comes to a surprise to anyone, but this movie has some of the most mind-blowing animation you will ever see in anything. There are so many different types of art styles every second, and you just feel the love, care, and passion put into every single frame. There will be points where we hold on a shot for maybe like 2 seconds, and in that little bit of time, 7 different frames of animation have already gone by. This is just an absolute spectacle, and I don't just see this as a film, it is a work of art. You can just pause the movie at any random second, and no matter what frame you pause it on, it is a work of art. Like, I would love to have just any shot of this movie hanging on my wall. I'm not even joking when I say this. They need to debate playing this movie on repeat on a TV in art museums. It's that beautiful. And to everyone who had a hand in animating this masterpiece, I have nothing but the utmost respect for every single one of you. And because of this movie, I think the Academy really needs to think about making a best animation category. Not best animated feature, like best animation. Even the story is just freaking incredible. I always say there is a reason certain things should stay animated, and I cannot think of in any way how you can tell a story like this in live action. I love how we've come to the point where somehow the 2 animated Spider-Man movies are much more adult than some of the live action films, with like its dialogue, situations that the characters are put into, and how they must make hard decisions with like who to save and what needs to be sacrificed. It's just like what Spider-Man said in the first movie. The hardest thing about this job is that you can't always save everybody. And so, as the movie goes on, you really do feel the pain and emotions that these characters are going through. And God, I still love these characters. I love how with Miles, they balance the Spider-Man stuff really well with his family drama. Rhea Morales also has a lot more screen time in this one than she did in the last film. Gwen Stacy has a lot more focus this time around, with like what her life is like in her universe. And I absolutely love what they did with the animation in her universe, where it's all like watercolored, and anytime a character has a different emotion, the colors will like change and whatnot. Even at one point, her dad just turns green. In the trailer, there's a character named The Spot, and like most of you, I thought he was just gonna be some random bad guy that Miles fights at the beginning, and then he's like never really mentioned again. But no, he's like the big threat of the movie, and I love his motive of how he's just sick of being known as Villain of the Week, as that's what they call him. So he tries to get it to where he's not known as that, and as the movie goes on, he becomes more and more of a problem. I also just freaking love his backstory. As he's explaining his backstory, he keeps telling Miles, "We are enemies. I am your arch rival." And he's like, "I have no idea who the hell you are." And he mentions that he worked at the lab from the last movie, and I'm like, no way. No way. They're bringing that back. You gotta see the movie to know what I'm talking about. But they brought that back, and I was like, oh my god, this movie's too freaking perfect. And when it comes to the character with the best animation, Javi, also known as Spider-Punk, is not just a character who steals the show, but I just adored how every single second he's a different color, he's got a totally different look, and basically he's a bunch of crumpled up newspaper in the style of a punk rock album or poster. One thing that I don't think is going to get enough credit here are the voice actors, who did such an amazing job here that they made these characters feel so real and not just animations. Most of the time, I never heard the actors, I heard the characters. And just like in the first movie, there's a lot of great in-jokes, Easter eggs, and every 5 seconds, I just wanted to pause the movie to go back and see what I'd miss. There were points where I couldn't focus on anything in the foreground because there was so much going on in the background. Can I also just mention how great it is that at the exact same time, we have Across the Spider-Verse coming out and Clone High Season 2? Lord and Miller, I, at this point, don't think can do no wrong. Everybody needs to see this movie. Comic book fans, animation fans, film buffs, anyone who is alive and breathing needs to see Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. This is cinema, a masterpiece. I know the Academy doesn't like acknowledging animation or superhero movies for Best Picture, but this movie deserves it all. Both Spider-Verse movies, in my opinion, are the Godfather 1 and 2 of animation. I've seen this movie twice already, and I'm going to see it again. It's one of my new favorite movies. And obviously, without a doubt, A+.
Can't stop me now. I said I got you now.
And if I haven't convinced you yet that this movie is an awe-inspiring masterpiece, I had to go watch The Boogeyman right afterwards, and through that entire movie, could not stop thinking about how incredible Across the Spider-Verse was. But I was like, okay, I gotta pay attention to this because I gotta talk about it eventually. But without a doubt, go see this movie. You're probably gonna want to see it as many times as I'm going to. Yeah, I may have seen it 10 times by next week when I'm talking about Transformers. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. Subscribe to my channel, like this video, turn on the notification bell, and I'll be back with more reviews very soon. See you then.